My name is Curtis Max, and I will be taking an in-depth look and analysis of a particular scene from the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, directed by Milos Forman. To give background on the film, this movie scene is set in 1963 Oregon with our main character being Randall Patrick McMurphy, starring Jack Nicholson. He is a recently sentenced criminal with a short prison term, and he decided to be declared insane, so he would be transferred to a mental institution where he expected he'd live a more comfortable sentence instead of being in prison labor. When on arrival, McMurphy found that the mental institution is run by a relentless, overbearing, and controlling dictator-like woman named Nurse Ratched. She had actually doministically shaped the patients into obedient sheep-like men within her rigged, controlled facility. Most of the men were actually voluntary, but still were pushed into a dejected, institutionalized submission. When following the film, I found a very valid question come up. What is the true sanity of these institutionalized gentlemen? Are they only insane because of the ward's subjective outlook? Or are they absolutely nuts and actually need to be controlled from the society? Following throughout the stay in the hospital, I found that McMurphy had a lot of shenanigans go on, which eventually led to him being taken away for a few days. Rumors began to float around the hospital from the patients as to what happened to his disappearance. Late one night, though, it was discovered from his good friend, the chief, a 6'5" Native American man, came over to his bed and realized that he had been lobotomized. Wanting to end his suffering, the chief then began to suffocate his friend with a pillow, ending the suffering that began from the lobotomy. He then proceeded to go out to the bathroom and lift a large bathroom fountain through a barred window, making a final closure shot of his escape to Canada, and following their shared dream together to have freedom. To begin, I want to explain I'll be analyzing the first scene that starts out our movie. From here, we'll look at the editing and sound that's comprised within it. This is so we can explore how each part of the sound creates a rooted meaning and helps the aspect amplify the scene. Throughout the entire movie, there are 12 soundtracks, all performed by Jack Niche. Our scene begins with a very long shot of a beautiful mountain range of sunrise, allowing for a sense of freedom. Often, someone would say this is an oxymoron for the film, but I find it to be appropriate in the setting. The music begins quite serene, but then kind of builds up to more of a Native American music vibe, almost kind of kooky as well, maybe giving reference to our chief, or maybe not. The music then drags on to the scene transitions to give the audience an easiest switch. In the transition, the scene's music ends quickly, just as Nurse Ratched enters for the first time. Everyday sounds in this scene become much more amplified. Most of them can be associated as evil-like. One aspect that you would describe this is how each staff member of the ward has only one dry and methodically spoken phrase to each other, merely just saying good morning and nothing thereafter. Obvious sounds and exaggeration of sound shows that there's a desolate prison feeling within this hospital. Sounds such as doors slamming, light switches clicking, keys jingling, chains dangling, pills being plopped, any and all sounds that can be associated with the prison and are easy to recognize so that the audience could understand it. The odd silence does become broken when the medication needs to be delivered. The assistant nurse announces the patient saying medication time, twice over a loudspeaker, making the whole scene very relatable to a 2006 short film, Bartholomew's Song, of which use an exaggerated sound amplification of everyday things within their prison-esque facility, promoting 100% methodological uniformity and control. Similar motif? I think so. Furthermore, when the medication announcement has been made, our next soundtrack begins, called Medication Valse, the definition for valse being a concert waltz. This could be a clue to an indirect pun in which the zombie-like patients waltz right on up, without question, to take very questionable pills. Now that we've explored the sound elements, let's look over the shots and editing that create an effect in our audience. Now there are a total of 15 shots that comprise this particular scene. The beginning is a very wide shot that eventually pans across the horizon, transitioning along with a passing car, allowing for another panning motion in the second shot to signify a transition within the same scene. Following from here out is another wide-angle shot of a long entrance hallway with a red contrasting light above, along with three colored men working in a slave-like manner, but are implied to be actually the underlings to the nurse, signifying the characterization of the nurse wretched and the orderlies as likely to be empty, cheerless, and seemingly malevolent. We then can move on to when the assistant nurse begins the valse music and starts administering the medication. Within this, there are a few shots that are spliced together from having a wide-angle view, followed with a close-up on each patient given medication, allowing for the audience to clearly see each robotic system and expression the patients have when taking the pills. Each shot is carefully edited to be very still, transitioned very quickly, that way there's no initial notification to the audience that the shot change would happen. The whole scene comes to a close when the chief turns to his pills, and even on his dominating size, he walked forward just as the shot slowly zooms in, showing his unwillingness and distaste as he still began to proceed just as the rest did. And that was my analysis for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Milos Forman. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.